So in my first interview, it took place with a woman in China, and she is the one who determined what my base pay is. I've heard some people say you can try to negotiate during that interview if you want a higher pay. I did not do that. It was pretty hard to understand each other anyway because the sound through her microphone wasn't working, so she called me through my cell phone and I listened to her through my speakerphone, and it was tricky to understand her. So negotiating my pay probably would have been tricky, and that didn't come up at all. But anyway, she seemed very impressed. I have my bachelor's degree in elementary ed and a master's degree in education also, and she seemed very impressed by that instantly. And I got my base pay is $8.50, which is at the higher end. It can start at $7 for your base pay and then go up in 50-cent increments, I believe, up to, I believe, 9 is the highest. So 7 to 9 for base pay. And then with every class you teach, there's potential for up to $2 bonuses. You get $1 bonus for being there on time, doing the lesson, and doing the feedback. So that's just automatic. I automatically get $9.50 for every class I teach. And then there's other incentives. If you teach 30 classes in a month, you get an extra 50 cents for every class you've taught. And then if you cross over the 45 class mark for a month, every class you've taught for that month gets $1 extra. So for the month of March, I am over, I think I'm almost 90 classes now. So that's an extra $90 for having been over the 45 class mark. So for every class, I get $8.50 plus the $1 for being on time, plus the $1 for being over 45 classes. So that's $10.50 per class, my standard base. In a class, I should note, is 25 minutes. There's 5-minute break in between classes if you're teaching multiple classes in a row. And then you can also get an additional $2 per class if it's short notice. And now short notice means, so if I will keep maybe 4:30 a.m. I do not open that class to be booked. I only do short notice for 4:30 a.m. and sometimes 5 a.m. And they always almost instantly get booked right when I open them. So I will open a short notice class the night before I'm going to teach. 6 p.m. here in Arizona is 9 a.m. in Beijing. So maybe at like 6 p.m. I'll open my 4:30 a.m. as a short notice, and usually very quickly it will get booked. So that means that that class now gets an extra $2 on top of that $10.50. So my short notice classes are getting $12.50 a class, which is awesome. But if you're, just to keep in mind, short notice classes can get booked up until an hour before that class. So if you open up a 4 a.m. short notice class, and when you go to bed, if it hasn't been booked and you still have the short notice box checked, it can get booked overnight. So you do need to be sure you wake up at 3:30 a.m. to check if you got booked overnight. And then you're going to have a very short window to prepare for that class. So do keep that in mind. If you're not comfortable with just a few minutes to get ready for a class, I wouldn't leave a short notice booking on overnight. I would probably uncheck it before I go to bed until you are comfortable with just a few minutes of preparation. So if you're trying to get those short notice classes and you're new, you can open up the 24-hour slot. You check the little box next to the time slot, and then before you go to bed, I would uncheck that box, and then you won't get booked for that class overnight. But if you feel ambitious and you feel like you can get ready for that class, or you're able to get up early enough for that class, you can leave that checked overnight. Just be sure that you check in the morning. You just set your alarm and wake up to see if you got a booking overnight. and then you'll be teaching that class in the morning. Another thing to keep in mind is you're not going to be able to do the evening bookings during the week, most likely. 6 p.m. and on. 6 p.m. again, Arizona time is 9 a.m. Beijing. So 6 p.m. to midnight is during the day in Beijing. So kids are going to be at school. You might be able to get some classes with level 1s, maybe the younger kiddos who aren't in school yet. But when you're really going to be able to do those evening slots is Friday night and Saturday night, because that's Saturday during the day and Sunday during the day when the kids are home from school. And then also how payments work. So I've been paid twice now, for January and February, and both times I've gotten my money delivered on the 12th of the following month. So January's paycheck, I got it February 12th. And then for the month of February, I got it March 12th. So you only get paid once a month, and then it's 2-ish weeks after the end of that month. So it's kind of a while in between paychecks, just to keep that in mind. And I use Charles Schwab online banking. It's a great card for traveling. You can use the ATMs anywhere with no fees. So I figured because they're really good about fees with ATMs and those things, that I probably wouldn't get any fees from my VIPKID transfers, and I haven't. It's been awesome. I get the money right when I'm supposed to, and there's never been any fees or anything missing. So that's super nice. Yeah, I think that's it.